A great book for negotiators in the professional and managerial world is Bargaining for Advantage by Richard Schell. In this video, I want to talk about my 5 key takeaways from this great little book. In Bargaining for Advantage by Richard Schell, he tells us that the best negotiators are those who research in advance and understand as best they can both the facts and the psychology of the negotiation they're about to enter. Schell calls this style of negotiation information-based bargaining. My first takeaway is that information-based bargaining focuses on 3 tactics. These tactics are first, preparation, second, listening, and third, attentiveness to non-verbal cues and information. My second takeaway is that understanding the psychology of the other person is important, but equally important, you need to understand your own psychology. We know that as negotiators, you need to avoid letting emotions control your approach, and therefore understanding your own psychology, being able to spot your own triggers and take action before you become emotional is vital. 3. Crafting a good agreement is all about reciprocity. It's about finding things that you can give and concede and asking for offers and concessions in return. It's this constant give and take that creates a balanced, fair outcome for both that leads to a successful negotiation. My 4th insight relates to leverage or leverage. We've done a video about what leverage is, but what Schell tells us is that leverage is about perceived advantage rather than real advantage. The leverage you have over the other party comes from their perception of an advantage that you have rather than any real advantage. What he says is that you can have a huge advantage, but if they don't perceive that, then there's no leverage. But likewise, you may not actually have an advantage at all in your own mind, but if they see an advantage, then you have leverage. And finally, closing is the hardest part of a negotiation, and Richard Schell proposes 2 primary tactics to help you to close effectively. He calls the first one the scarcity effect, but we may often know it as fear of missing out. At its simplest, a threat to walk away from a deal which the other party might consider suboptimal, but a good deal, may bring them to a final conclusion. The fear of losing something good is what the scarcity effect is all about. And therefore the threat to remove an advantage or an offer can trigger acceptance. And we see this all the time in the commercial world, when companies will offer their buyers, their consumers, their business partners an offer which is time limited. Schell's second strategy for closing a negotiation is what he calls overcommitment. I prefer to think of this as being about sunk cost. If I've put a lot of effort into a negotiation, then I may be reluctant to throw away that effort. So reminding the other party of everything that's gone in, all the work that's been done, can trigger a close. On the other hand, you as a negotiator need to be aware of the sunk cost fallacy. If you focus too much on what you've put into the negotiation, that can override in your mind the weaknesses of the outcome you've reached and can lead you to close and accept an outcome which is not good enough and possibly even lower than your BATNA, your best alternative to the negotiated agreement. Bargaining for Advantage is an excellent book. It's aimed at managers and executives. It's full of good practical advice. Please do give us a thumbs up if you like this video. There's loads more great management courses content to come. So please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.